Okay. We'll call this committee of the whole meeting to order on July 29th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before we get into public participation, we're going to move item 4 up. The chief of police is on the call, and we want to get him offline early tonight. So we'll start off with item number 4, extension of current contract with Motorola for body-worn camera service for a period of 3 years. Chief Meister?
Thank you, Mayor. As indicated in my memo that I submitted to the council, we are currently under contract with Motorola. That company provides our body camera services, the cameras, the storage, and also support in case of breakage or anything like that. Excuse me. What we would like to do is extend that contract from 2028 through 2031. In doing so, we will lock in the 2025 rate that's offered at this point, but I will have to extend that contract during calendar year 2025 to secure that rate. And obviously the body-worn camera program is a mandatory program. It's a statutory requirement that we have those and wear those while we're on duty. So those aren't going away anytime. If anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to try to answer them.
Questions for Chief Meister? Okay, place this on the regular agenda. Okay, we'll place item number 4 on the regular agenda. Okay, thank you, Chief. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, we'll go back to public participation. I do have one speaker card. It is from Tammy Bunner to speak to the council about Touch a Truck. Tammy?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Tammy Bunner, and together with Heather Martin, we sponsor Touch a Truck. Last year was the first year we did Touch a Truck. It was on 3 sides of Scully Park. We had 15 trucks, a food truck, and face painting. It was a free event for the kids, and it was very successful for our first year. I'm guessing about 300 people showed up. Yeah. We gave away hats, and I gave away about 250 hats. So this year, we are going to move it up from October to September. Lincoln FFA is hoping to participate and bring in farm equipment as well. We'll keep the same hours as 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. 9 to 10 is sensory free, meaning no lights and no siren. And if anybody was around last year, you knew when 10 o'clock came because all the sirens went off. The kids figured it out. We're requesting to have Scully Park again, but we would like to extend the street closures a little bit to give us more room for extra trucks. So the second sheet you have, there's a picture I drew. We'll have Decatur Street closed from Kickapoo to McLean like we did last year. But then we'd like to take McLean Street all the way from Decatur down to Pulaski, and then Clinton Street from Kickapoo to Hamilton. We leave Kickapoo Street entirely open. We don't even use the parallel parking there because we don't want the kids out by the street. So looking at our location, we use those extensions there seem to be the less trafficked area, so that's what we're requesting for this year.
Okay. And then it mentions the parking lot as well. It says We have access to permitted parking, the parking lot behind the arcade. So the parking will be unavailable during that time due to the closure, just for awareness. Okay, Mr. Bateman.
So knowing the downtown area there on Clinton Street to go all the way down to Hamilton, are you gonna reach out? I think there's a duplex
Yeah,
there.
yes,
I think that's the only resident that would be affected.
right. So last year, we went around to any of the residents, and we left them a notice a couple weeks before that we would be in there with the streets closed and ask them to not park on the streets.
Does the dance studio have any activities going on at that time?
I have no idea.
Okay, I have to double check on that.
Okay.
Yeah, Miss Bateman.
Where you said on Kickapoo, you won't have nothing there, it'll be all open where those parking is.
Yes.
Are you gonna block those parking off so no vehicles can be around, or are you gonna allow people to park there?
We didn't touch them. We left them open last time. So people coming to the event, a lot of them parked there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other question? Mr. Landers.
I would recommend that you talk to Sherwin-Williams and probably Gazzardo's too. If they have any delivery. I know it's a Saturday, but it might not hurt to say something to them
Okay.
just to make them aware of what you're going to be doing.
Okay.
And I guess I don't know if Spirited would be affected by it at all too. Anything in the arcade maybe.
I
Yeah.
think they usually open up at noon that day. So,
The ice
yeah.
cream place. Yeah. We'll do that.
Yeah, I think that should be it. Mama's will be open in the morning then, but yeah.
Does anybody know, right there on McLean Street, there's those empty lots there? Who owns those? There's
Yeah.
one where the old car dealership, and then,
It's Abbott's Accounting owns the one across the street that we all knew as Decker Shoes.
okay,
That's the Abbott's Accounting firm owns that parking lot there.
okay.
And then Gene and Wanda Rolfs own a property there on the corner of
Old Firestone.
Decatur and Clinton Street.
Okay.
There would be a resident on the east side there at the corner of Decatur and McLean.
Right.
There's a little white house there.
Yes.
next to the old Row Motors used car.
Yeah, is there two houses there?
I know there's at least one.
I know there's one. We went there last year and left notices for them. Any other questions?
Okay. So, council, okay, placing this on the consent agenda? Okay. Thank you for doing it, Tammy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was
If you
fun.
need anything else from us, let us know.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next item is item number 5, fire department radio purchase. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. This is just to continue a project we started last year. We're trying to bring all of our radios up to NFPA compliance. There is an error in the memo, though. This is for 4 radios. I don't know why I wrote 6 down there, but we found some pretty good deals on some used radios. If we can get 4 of them, not to exceed $8,835, that'll put us 5 away from completing the project, which we'll ask for next year. This was discussed during the budget talks, and the money is in that line. Just need your approval to make the purchase.
Questions for the chief? Okay, place this on the regular agenda. Okay. Place item number 5 on the regular agenda. Thanks, chief. Thank you. Okay, the next item up is item number 6, Economic Development Commission grant approval. In the memo, there is one grant approval request. It was for Kevin and Brooke, 116 North McLean Street. This is a property that Hardy had some work done to it. This is for the lower portion of the building at 116, which is next to City Hall here on the backside. So they went through the grant commission. The commission recommended approval, and it is for $7,500. Any questions? Okay, place that on the regular agenda. Okay, Place item number 6 on the regular agenda. Next is item number 7, renewal of certificate of deposit in the general fund. Treasurer Conzo.
Thank you, Mayor. This was a certificate of deposit that we currently have. It expires now at the end of July. What we would need to, the number of options you have there, you could decline to renew it. I would not recommend that. We could renew it for a period of 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months at a rate of 4.10%, which is a special that United Community Bank would offer us because it's the renewal of an existing certificate of deposit. We could also go full 12 months at a lower rate, 3.95%. Generally, what you're seeing is an inverse curve like this, where the shorter term CDs have a greater yield than the long-term CDs, which is kind of different than what you usually see. But it happens from time to time just in anticipation of the Fed lowering interest rates and this sort of thing in the future. I would recommend, since they do anticipate that happening, I would recommend going with the 9-month renewal at 4.10%. This is, we have CDs in both the general fund, I should clarify, it's in the general fund and in the sewer O&M fund. This one happens to be in the general fund. So I would recommend the 4.10% for a period of 9 months. What I would need to know, if possible, is if this were Monday night, would you approve that? Because I would need to contact the bank so that they can begin to draw up the paperwork for that. Yes. And of course, we would not sign it until you actually vote on it next week. But if this were Monday night, would you be agreeable to it?
Okay, let's place that on the regular agenda.
If this were Monday night, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
we'll place that on the regular agenda. Thank you. Okay, next up is item number 8, request to permit Lincoln Community High School football boosters homecoming decorating and whitewashing Thursday, September 18th, 2025. Peggy?
This is something they do every year. They just go around and whitewash in front of the players' homes. I believe that's what they do. Walt, is this the same? This is the same group of people. Didn't you kind of stress on how they decorate the boulevard?
Yeah, I'll reach out to him.
Okay.
And talk to him.
Okay, let's place this on the Mr. Bateman.
So, have they come forward about the parade yet? I've always
Yes.
been confused on.
No, they've already done. We've already got the parade
Okay.
agreed on. It's
So we'll place this on the consent agenda. Okay. Next item is item number 9, request from Up in Smoke Committee to approve a modified road closure for Balloons Over 66 weekend that was approved on April 7th, 2025. Mr. Bateman.
So with the lovely artwork in front of you, and Tracy's going to put it up there so people can see it at home. Currently, what is approved is Broadway being closed at 4 o'clock on Friday at an angle from J&M meets at an angle over toward Flossie and Delzina's. What we are asking for is a noon closure for staying the same at Broadway and McLean, closing off Kickapoo. And then I spoke with the Foxhole and told him that I only actually needed down to the alley there by the bank, but he would like to extend the closure down to Chicago Street because he's working on something that he may put in the street to be part of the event in there. That's the request. The reason for the request is I've been contacted by a downtown business that would like to be part of the food vendor this year. And in order to accommodate this business, I would need to move all the food trucks down at least 20 feet, and that would put them into the intersection of Broadway. And several of the food trucks have indicated that they will be open for lunch. So in order to the term T-Berry shuffle everybody down a little bit so I can make room for this individual, which I told them that that the only way this could happen is if the council approved this, because I've already got the streets full. So that is the reason for this request. Now, the rest of this speech is, I get a lot of armchair quarterbacking on, you should move this to there, and this to there, and this to there, and this to there. This map, for lack of a better term, is kind of set in stone because of power, water, and logistics on how everything is set. The most importantly is the power. A lot of you don't know this or may not notice when you come down for this event, but the barbecue committee actually has, I believe, 6 Silco drops from power poles with meters that are in our name that are tied to the Up in Smokes nonprofit, which is tied to my social security number. So I get the bill. We use those in turning them on to then extend power to the places where we need it to be. So behind the ones you don't see, behind the county building, the country building, which is the building with the angled lines drawn through it, we have a drop there. At the back of Bennett's Funeral Home, we have a drop there. At the Abbott parking lot, which is not on this because it's outside the street closure, we have a drop there. We have one in the little alley behind the theater that we actually had to use this year for Nashville Nights because last year we blew some breakers. So the Up in Smoke committee turned that power on so that we could power up 2 of the bands. So, and as Tracy knows, the third Friday before that, we were actually blowing breakers because Third Fridays has grown and the power usage has grown. So we're trying to do all that and keep everything going on the behind the scenes thing. So the blue dots are the water hydrants that we tap into for dock dogs, for the barbecue teams, for the food vendors. We actually, if you've ever been downtown, the one on the corner there at the Country Companies building, that water hydrant is tapped in for the barbecue event. Plus we lay a mister hose across the street so dogs don't burn their feet on the hot asphalt, and the little kids really like running through it. So the stage is where it's at. We have to power that. We have to power the tent. And we got to get the barbecue team's power. The good news is that the event is growing. We are already surpassed the number of barbecue teams we had last year, which surpassed the year before that, which surpassed the year before that coming out of COVID. The art fair is already at 30 vendors, and they would also benefit from this street closure because they're right up against their area that's set aside. And if we can extend it out a little ways, then they can accommodate more art vendors. We got a kids area set up so the kids can have something to do between the dock dog jumps. That's what's going on there in front of Broadway. Again, I don't know how to be polite without being direct. I can't move this stuff around simply because of electrical and logistics. I'm very sorry that I do set up things in front of businesses. We do our best at advertising that these businesses are open. We're going to try some sandwich boards this year and stuff. I can tell you a couple of the businesses on Kickapoo Street have mentioned many times that this is one of their best weekends because we will bring literally tens of thousands of people to downtown. A couple of the new businesses haven't had the full effect of what this kind of festival can put in front of their business. So I asked those businesses to talk with their neighboring businesses and try to find ways to get involved because I simply can't change this setup. So I'm hoping everybody understands that. Please keep this in front of you for next week if someone shows up for any questions. Oh, and I forgot to mention that the reason some of this is set up is there is a master safety plan that is in place. It was brought up when Mr. Hopeful was here. We don't share that with anybody, but the one detail I can share is we have to keep a minimum of an 8-foot space to at least accommodate an ambulance if need be through things. So there's many reasons it's set up like this. I would love to discuss it with anybody, but at this point, it's a no or go no on this event happening. Like, quite honestly, I can't move power around, and it sometimes takes 6 months to get Silco to put us a drop in, which I don't know if anybody of you have seen these on the buildings, but it's literally tied into the overhead lines with a weatherhead, comes down into a meter box, which then comes into our 200 amp. Every one of these red dots is 200 amps. So we're dragging a lot of 3/0 cable up and down the street to get everything hooked up. So over the years, the barbecue committee, I've talked to some of the members today, we feel that our investment without labor is over $30,000 in equipment. That also includes a directional bore underneath Kickapoo Street to put us a drop in. And those of you that don't know, that the bump outs that are on Pulaski Street that have the RV pedestals, those were put in by the barbecue committee when that sidewalk was tore out. We buried conduit, ran the cables, and put those RV boxes in, and then everybody gets to see the ones that are on the courthouse. So if there's any suggestions, I'm open to them, but I apologize for the inconvenience it's going to cause a few, but for the greater good of the community, this is, in all accounts, going to be the largest festival we've had post-COVID coming to town that weekend.
Ms. McClellan?
I just like to thank Kevin and Peggy for all they do for the community. I walked around Third Friday and we were picking up garbage, and Kevin was showing me all the things, all the installations and the spiders and things that, anyway, that he really explained the electrical, all the infrastructure and things like that. And I just want to thank him for all the hard work that they put in on this. And to me, this is like Kevin said, it's a community event for everybody. And I personally think that shutting down one more block is, especially for safety, for keeping the kids on that kids area down there, I think it's a good idea. So thank you again, Kevin and Peggy and the board.
Ms. O'Donohue?
So the original was to close Broadway Street at 4 o'clock. So now what time is Broadway Street actually closing?
Noon,
The whole, all of Broadway Street.
yes.
And that's safety-wise, that's,
I have no problem with the street closures. There is a lane to drive through. Is it an inconvenience in an emergency? Sometimes, but every emergency has their own issues, so I don't have any real concern over it.
The noon part is because the food trucks will start showing up, I'll just say 7 a.m. And if they show up when they're scheduled, that's the other part of it. I actually have schedules for these trucks to show up because we try to stack them. People don't know, but certain food trucks vend out the left side, vend out the right side, have porches on the back, have back doors. We got some that we got to put on a dolly and turn around so the hitch is toward the curb, which we have to manually move that because they serve out the back. We got support trailers to go with them, and I'm just afraid that we'll be at that intersection long before noon. We'll just have to stop putting food trucks in there to where we can push it out into the noon area. And those of you that help with Third Fridays, trying to get cars off the street 2 hours in advance of the festival starting is extremely difficult. We've towed several this year. Again, that was part of the noon thing. is to just make it so nobody gets hurt. We can get the thing set up. I did contact Marcia with the art group. They would be appreciative of the noon because the 4 o'clock, the art people were actually going to start stacking up on the streets to move in there at 4 to be ready to go. Now they can actually come in and set up a little bit earlier and get their goods out. I don't know if any of you have walked through the art fair. There's people that bring these elaborate plaster things they make and they put them on pedestals and easels and stuff. So it's going to turn out to be a good event. Knock on wood, the weather's good. But these are the reasons that things are the way they are.
The courthouse open that day? Are they open for full business that day?
The courthouse is open all day on Friday. The emails have been sent out every month. They know that the street is closed that day. The handicap parking spots across from the post office will remain open. Nothing is in the street from the crosswalk north of the post office because there's handicap parking there for the courthouse use.
So if they have to get prisoners in, like for court that day, they can still get people in?
So again, they know when this festival is almost a year in advance. So they try not to schedule court those days. Usually it's only in an emergency hearing. I've worked very well with the courthouse. There was an incident last year, but it was because a new employee just didn't know he wasn't allowed to drive around the barricades and park where he wanted to park when he wanted to park. Other than that, the courthouse also knows that the Dock Dog pool is set up on Thursday, so all them parking spots there where dock dogs are, the Walt gives me a pile of cones. We block off them spots early in the morning so that the Dock Dog pool can be set up. It's if you haven't been downtown, it's a 40-foot long pool plus the ramp that the dogs jump off of. So again, we start planning this event. The event will happen at the last weekend in August. We take a month off, and then we start meeting again for the 2026 event. So that's how long it takes to plan some of this stuff out, make changes, take care of some issues that come up, figure out how they don't happen again. And that's all I can say. Anybody can join our group if they want and find out for themselves.
And this road closure right here in front of the courthouse and the post office here, this is going to be on this side of the sidewalk, right? So if they do need to get to that ramp, they can.
Yes, it is at the ramp.
Okay. Because there is one handicap spot right here, but there are multiple in this area. And even on Third Fridays, we talked with Sheriff Landers and he was okay with that. And then we know that trucks come in for the post office at 4:30 to 5 on Fridays. So once we get past that, you're good, right?
So the way I understand it, the post office decided to change the way their trucks come in on Pulaski Street. They will have to go back to their way they've done it for 15 years.
That was
Our event's been going on is they'll have to come into Broadway, turn on to McLean, and back into their ramp.
No, the Pulaski approach was us trying to find a compromise to allow the back ends. They did the normal way this time. We just had to kind of walk them through there to make sure there was nobody in this area. And then once they get in, get out, then you can do what you need to at the roads.
I try to do my best to accommodate businesses. Ethan Haneke does a robust coffee business in the morning. He knows that we close the street. We ask people that if they're coming in to pick up their drink, that they just run in, pick it up, and leave. They can't just sit down and enjoy it like they usually do because we're going to have food trucks and dragging heavy electrical cables up and down there. Mama's Arcade, we try to do the best we can. Obviously, they got parking in the back for those days. I do know if you go downtown Saturday morning to get breakfast, every year that I've been, people usually waiting outside to get a table. because we do bring a lot of people in town, especially the judges start showing up. We actually have judges that fly in for this event, land at the airport, and have one of the other judges pick them up and bring them in. Sherman-Williams, what we work out with them is they get a truck on Friday. On that week, they try to schedule it to come in on Thursday. One year they did have a truck show up on Friday. This was pre-COVID. So the barbecue committee, we always have contingency plans. We don't like to talk about them, but we have a plan for everything. We had forklifts available, so we immediately met the truck out on Clinton Street and unloaded their truck for them that year. Since then, we leave the alley open behind Sherwin-Williams and behind Gazzardo's, so vehicles can get in and out there. So again, we try our best to accommodate the best we can. We know it's an inconvenience for some, but we feel that this is an event unlike any other in Central Illinois, and sometimes, things happen that I don't have control over.
Okay. So is the council okay with putting this modification on the consent agenda? Okay. Place it on the consent agenda. And if you do get any questions between now and next week or even beyond, leading up to the event, please get with Mr. Bateman on those. Okay. I have an item that I would like to add, and that is the advise and consent to the mayoral appointment of Alderman Dennis Clemens to the Economic Development Grant Commission. We have a vacancy on that commission, and we're trying to keep our commissions adequately staffed so that we have quorums to conduct the business of the city. So if there's no concerns from the council, I'd like to place that on the regular agenda for next week. Okay, thank you. Okay, that brings us down to announcements. Anybody have an announcement that they'd like to make? It's Fair Week, so try to enjoy the fair. I think there's going to be some scattered showers, but once the heat breaks, then it should be more enjoyable for the week. Looks like they got a pretty good lineup. We were out there this morning for the ribbon cut. Pretty good showing. Tonight's the Fair Queen pageant, actually. So it's probably getting ready to go now, or has. So, Mr. Bateman.
I'd like to point out that even though everybody likes a good rodeo, evidently the rodeo isn't happening this year, so they reached out to the Lincoln Speedway. There will be racing during the Logan County Fair this year. I haven't seen the card yet of what kind of cars they're bringing. But again, everybody knows I'm a proponent of that racetrack. A lot of my coworkers went a couple Fridays ago, came to Lincoln to watch racing, and they have already made plans to come back and bring a lot more people. It is a good thing, but it gives a chance for some fair people to see some car racing during the fair. So I'm glad they're utilizing the track instead of just canceling a night of an event, and it go unfulfilled.
Okay. Any other announcements? Okay. If there are no other announcements, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Alderman Downs made the motion. Alderwoman O'Donohue second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. This meeting is adjourned at 6:34 p.m.